catch. Don't you fucking touch me, I will nash. Cause I am an old phenomenon, and I am an old phenomenon.
So cool.
Genius, right? Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're watching the video. Yeah. This is an artist from the United States who made a video with Zoom. I'll bring the volume down. We can introduce ourselves. So hi, everyone. How are you? Welcome. Have you used Zoom? Do you like Zoom? How about you, Jess? Do you like Zoom?
Yeah, Zoom is cool. I was thinking, Monique, we should make a video for you on using Zoom.
Right.
We can choreograph a video. Very cool.
It's just such a good idea, you know? Isn't that so creative? And just, I mean, think about what went into making this. They must have had so much fun because it's still a choreography, right? It's still dancers that have to learn dance moves, and this has to all have been real time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, this video is 2 minutes and 50 seconds long, so that means they had to all be like ready, and everyone must have hit play at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. So cool, yeah. So everyone, welcome. This is another fantastic MyES webinar. This is an 8 to 10. It's called It's About Time. And we want to know from you, do you like time? Do you like to relax? And why? Maybe we'll introduce ourselves first. So, hi, my name's Monique. I'm from Los Angeles, and I am a bad dancer, but I like to dance. I enjoy dancing. I think it's interesting and fun. I'm also a musician and I like performing. I like dancing when performing, but I prefer having my instrument on me because that's an excuse for not dancing well. So, but I think dancing is fun. Yeah. How about you? Can you introduce yourself?
I can. My name is Jess. I come from England. I was born and raised in London, and I love dancing. I'm so mesmerized by the video. I'm finding it hard to talk.
Yeah, it's just so cool. It's one of those videos you're like, let me watch that again. So just if anyone is interested in watching this video, the artist is Tao and the Get Down, Stay Down. And the song is called Phenom. I think it was released 4 days ago. I mean, it's brand new. So that's a recommendation. If you're just joining us, tell us what is your name, where are you from? And we want to know, do you like time? Do you like to relax? And why? So Jess, do you like time?
I do like time. I don't use it very often though.
Really?
Yeah. But I appreciate it if someone uses it in a dish. I go, oh wow, cool.
Nice. Like, does your mom use time to cook?
Yeah, she does. She
Nice.
does.
I use it. It's a unique herb, right? Or let's share what this. First, we'll share a photo of thyme so everyone can see it up close. Ooh, that's neat because we have time on time.
Time on time on a webinar about time.
Exactly. So thyme is an herb. Notice the pronunciation difference. So in the United States, we say herb. So I would say thyme is an herb. It's a silent H. And in the UK?
We say herb.
So thyme is a herb. The article also changes, right? We say thyme is an herb. And in the UK, thyme is a herb. So quite a difference there. But thyme is an herb. I like thyme a lot. I like to use it. Actually, so last webinar, you had your market list you were working on. This webinar, I'm thinking I have remaining time from last week. I am going to put it in with my roast potatoes that I'm having.
Nice. Good idea.
Check it out. I'm working out my recipes in live streaming here with MyES, My English School. That's right. You can think about your recipes too in this live broadcast. So, what about the second question? Do you like to relax?
I love to relax.
Really?
I love to
In
relax.
what way?
It's just a nice time, you know, for you. Yesterday I had a very relaxing day. Because on what night was it? Monday night, I built a den for myself.
Really? That's
So
so
I like took my mattress off my bed and I put the mattress on the floor and I put the bed upside down, like on its side. And then I put one of my sheets over the top and then I put all the fairy lights inside and it was a den.
That's amazing.
And I spent Monday evening relaxing in my den, watching movies. And then I spent all day yesterday in my den, relaxing.
Where are you sleeping?
In the den. I mean, this morning before the webinar, I took the den down because it takes up a lot of space and it was quite messy. And
Nice.
it also blocked a lot of the light. It was very dark. And so today I put everything back to normal so I could let the light back in.
How would you describe a den? Like a living area or like a living room-ish, kind of like a comforting
Space. So like as children make dens a lot. As a child, I would make a lot of dens.
That's so cool. That was a great idea. I mean, it's so nice to be creative during this time, right? We have spent so much time like just kind of doing, what are we going to do? What we want to vary it up, right? I've noticed like I did a yoga class on what day was it? I think yesterday. No, 2 days ago on Monday, I did a yoga class. It's a friend of a friend who's based in Los Angeles, but she's from Puerto Rico. So her mother tongue is Spanish. So she's an amazing yoga teacher. So I did a yoga class in Spanish, but just to change it up, right? Like, why not, right? Let's see here. We have Elisa.
Hi again. I'm Elisa from Milan. Either I am a bad dancer. We would say me too, or I'm a bad dancer too.
Or I'm also a bad dancer. Right.
I like to relax doing yoga or listening to music. Not that type I saw in the video.
So you would say, I'm also a bad dancer, or I'm a bad dancer too. Right? Sorry, what was that? I like to relax doing yoga or listening to music, not that type I saw in the video. Yeah. Tal and the Get Down, Stay Down does a really interesting type of music. I don't even know what you would refer to it as. It's sort of indie rock, but it's also very like avant-garde in a way. She really pushes the boundary, and that's why I like her. I find her to be an interesting artist because personally I like art when it's either inspires or provokes, right? So if we take Marina Abramovic, right, that's very provocative, right? And I find that to be interesting. I like art that is provocative, right? Do you like Marina Abramovic?
I do. I do. Yeah.
So interesting, huh? Just like,
very interesting.
Oh, can you do that? Can you say that?
I went and saw her exhibition in Florence because one of my dance teachers was performing live in it. So I went to see the whole exhibition. It was incredible. It blew, opened my mind.
Yeah.
And I did she does a live performance where she sits down in the Tate Modern and she closes her eyes and someone will come and sit opposite her. And you just stare into each other's eyes for as long as possible, as long as you like. And it is the most intense and emotional thing. Yeah, I did it. It's like you're looking into a stranger's eyes for a long time. And sometimes, like the woman that I did it with, she started to cry at one point, and I was nearly crying. My eyes were very watery. I was on the edge because it's just so emotional, and you're unaware of how much time is going by. And you're like, there are people around watching, but it's like the energy is just so connected in the room, and it's almost like everyone else is just there supporting the connection you have with the person in front of you.
So
and you know each other.
Watching you.
Yeah.
So interesting.
And it's like you become a performer, and all you're doing is just sat there, but you become this like essential part.
Yeah.
It's incredible, really.
Beautiful. Yeah. Good question, Elisa. When can I use either? So either we use when there's different things, right? either, so for lunch, I'll have either an eggplant or, in fact, you know the artist Elliott Smith? You know,
No.
he has an album called Either Or. We commonly say either or. Like,
Yeah, it comes with or.
Jess,
Either or.
want some tea or coffee? And maybe Jess says either or, one or the other. This is an amazing album. It's fabulous, fabulous album. But yeah, so is that clear, Elisa? So either the eggplant or.
Adding it to my list, either or. Just a bit.
What's that?
I'm adding it to my list, either or, so I can listen later.
So you can listen later? What's that?
So I can listen to Elliott Smith.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, let me know if you like it. I think it's a gorgeous album. So hope that's clear, Lisa. So let's check out what our fine focus is today. Wait, do you like time? Did we talk about time? We did. And I like to relax. So why not, right? Relaxing feels good. It's like taking care of oneself, self-care, self-love, right? Very important at this time. Thank you, Elisa. Lovely. So our focus is called It's About Time, right? Jess, could you read?
In this focus activity, expressions of time, describing time management, cultural attitudes about time.
Yes, what is time management?
Time management is something you either have or you don't have.
Exactly. Time management is difficult. Time management is how you divide your time. So especially now in the quarantine, it's interesting, time management. It takes on a whole different level because we don't have so much movement. So how can you organize your day to keep it creative, to keep it light, right? I love the idea of a den. That's really cool. Exactly.
I will send you my video later of me in my den.
Fantastic, fantastic. So we see 5 questions here, and we want to know the answers. So they're asking which country for most of them. So let's see the first one, Jess.
Time is precious. In which country is it considered polite to arrive 10 to 30 minutes early for a meeting?
So I don't know the answer to this. However, I can tell you that there's such a cultural difference between Italy and the United States. I don't know if it's as notable between Italy and the UK, but when I go back to the United States, I have to like change my entire perception and way of living time because 10 to 30 minutes is a lot. But in the United States, I would say it's considered polite to arrive 5 to 10 minutes early. Not only for a meeting, also if you're meeting someone for coffee or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not uncommon for people to arrive 5 minutes early. Let's say we're meeting for a coffee. Someone can arrive 5 minutes early and then send you a text message and just, Jess, is everything okay? Where are you? Mm-hmm. You're like, well, it's not even, let's say we're meeting at 2 o'clock. I'm like, but it's not even 2 o'clock. Like, what do you mean, where am I? I'm coming. I'm on my way.
That's a big difference. Also for me, it's such a big difference here in Italy. Like I would spend like a lot of time waiting for my Italian friends when I first arrived here.
Yeah, and so now you've gotten used to it.
Now I've got used to it. Now I don't leave my home until it's the meeting time.
So in the UK, it's quite different.
Yeah. I think also for me, because training as a dancer, you always have to, like, time is so important. So it's like drilled into me, be early, be on time. Yeah. No, not even be on time, be early, which is to be on time.
It's the same with sound checks. Like as a musician, if you have if there's a show and I have, let's say the sound check is at 5 o'clock, I'll always be there early and I'll always make it so that if we're on tour, like make sure to overestimate how long it would take. Let's say we have a show in Florence tonight and the sound check is at 5 p.m. I'm gonna let's plan it so that at 4:30 we're there. Because there's so many things that could happen, right? Yeah. So yeah, I also have that, especially when it's regarding something to do with the arts, right? We want to leave as much time as possible to arrive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny though, it is such a cultural difference because then I've had in the past experiences where people are like, why do we need to get there early? Why are you putting so much of a buffer? You know, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, isn't it better to arrive early and have more time to set up the stage than rush, especially if there's many artists? If you arrive late, then it changes the whole lineup. Like it just throws everything off, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
I think also because in the arts, like let's say certainly with dance and with music, time is a huge aspect of a successful and a wonderful performance, right? Like to dance in time or to play in time makes a big difference, right?
Mhm.
So any ideas which country it's considered polite to arrive 10 to 30 minutes early? What do you think it might be? I think Asia somewhere. Let's see. Elisa says, I am always late. It's not good for me. Sorry, girls, I have to have lunch. We have to have lunch too. We have to have lunch too. Smiley face. Are you going to have lunch after this?
Yes, I am.
What did you say you're having? A vegetable soup?
Soup. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I'll have, I don't know because making oven roasted potatoes takes about an hour.
Yeah, it's a long time.
So I will make that, but I might have, you know what?
Have a carrot.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have this raw carrot. I actually have fennel too, which I love. So yeah, this we'll see. I think it would be complicated to continue our webinar as we're cooking. That might be a little bit too ambitious.
Also, like I burn everything, so I have to be very careful.
I must tell you, I never watch cooking channels, but I actually watched a Jamie Oliver thing on YouTube about.
So did I at the weekend. I was watching Jamie Oliver YouTube.
It was so helpful. Let me see if I can find it. We can actually watch it.
Jamie Oliver, he's the reason. So in my secondary school, in American English high school, and we had vending machines.
Yeah.
Okay, you could buy chocolate. And Jamie Oliver, he came in and he banned all of the vending machines. And so Jamie Oliver went on this massive, like, we need to have our children in schools eating healthily. And my school made it onto BBC News because there was footage before Jamie Oliver came of mothers handing McDonald's bags through the gates of my school for the children to eat McDonald's for lunch. And so Jamie Oliver came in and he changed everything. He did loads of workshops with the cooks in my school. And so they made school lunches very healthy and blah, blah, blah. And it was all Jamie Oliver.
Were you happy as a kid that this happened?
I mean, I think the vending machine part was a bit like, oh, damn. But like now I'm an adult, yeah, I'm very grateful for it.
That's awesome. Let's take a look at this little primer here from Jamie Oliver. We'll just watch the beginning, see what Jamie Oliver has to say about cooking with herbs. So see if you can follow along from home
Herbs.
too.
Herbs is a really very cool part of cooking. It's great for flavour, amazing for health, to be general. And I'm going to split it into two camps. First of all, we've got the woody camp. So that's things like we've got the thyme here, we've got
Thyme, he said thyme.
rosemary here, and the sage. So thyme, rosemary, sage, they're really common herbs. They're brilliant herbs. But also you've got things like bay leaf, myrtle. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful things out there. Go get them, plant them up, whether it's a window box, up in a flat or in a back garden. Brilliant. And also the great thing about these is you can have thyme, rosemary and sage nearly all year round, if not all year round, to put into your cooking. So at this time of year, when the weather's not so hot, what you can do is just run these under hot water for 7 seconds. That loosens up the natural oil, makes it much, much more tasty and easy to deal with. With things like thyme, to prep these, dead simple. Just grab yourself a stalk, hold your fingers over it like that, and just carefully pull the stalk away from here.
Right.
See that? Nice and easy.
Nice and easy.
Do exactly the same, but the other way around. You hold the end.
So he just told us that woody herbs.
You might not always want to take the
sage,
herbs off the stalk.
Thyme,
And for the sage,
rosemary.
literally you're just snapping them and picking them off.
So lovely, right? And then
So
he
once
goes.
you pick these woody herbs, you know, you can either roughly slice them, or what I like to do, I call it the cigar method. I basically get as many leaves as I can and just sort of roll it up and fold it up and sweep, you know, as many of the leaves into it as possible. And then that way you've got a nice dense clump of herbs. And then using that rocking action on the knives, you can either finely or roughly slice these little babies into either slices, or you can just simply twist it afterwards.
Fabulous.
And then you can kind of get it sort of roughly chopped.
Fabulous, no?
It's so satisfying watching him cut. I wish I could chop like that.
Satisfying, right? Have you ever used the cigar method?
No, never.
Yeah, it's nice. Let's leave it playing in the background. We can watch how he continues. Yeah, it's really nice. I found it very interesting, this video. Also, what he suggests, for example, with fresh mint, which I have in my fridge, is to take it and put it in like a little bowl of water and leave it until you're done cooking, then put it on top of what you just cooked so that the mint remains really fresh and green.
Oh.
It works. I mean, granted, I've had it for 3 days in my fridge. No, I used it yesterday, but I have a hard time with timing. Talking about timings again, right? I find it difficult when recipes or when cooking requires like different timings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
today, I think it'll be easy because I've already boiled the potatoes. So I know that they won't be undercooked. But I think what I'll do is make potatoes, possibly some cauliflower, carrots, and leeks.
Mm.
You like leeks?
Don't like leeks.
Not at all?
No, I like them inside things. In cooking, I don't mind them. But alone,
Here's my description of leeks. Tell me if you like it.
a description of leeks.
No, read the one that I put up there.
Similar to onions, but long, green, and fun.
That's a good description, right? Okay.
It makes my life go like, if I think about eating a raw leek, I go,
No, I agree with you. Not raw, but in the oven, they're exceptional. Like leeks in quiches.
very good.
I went to Paris to perform last summer, and I stayed at a friend's place. And right near her place, she lives in Clichy, which is like just in the suburbs of Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And about like 2-3 minute walk from her place is this tiny little bakery where they make these little quiches. And they had one quiche made with leeks that was so good. And it was the round circle leeks, like cut, sliced like that. And ever since then, I've been a little bit obsessed with leeks in the oven. It's just awesome. Awesome. So let's dive back into our human little. Have you never liked leeks? Interesting.
But I'm open to trying them.
You're up to try them, yeah. I recommend them in the oven especially. So thank you, Jamie Oliver. That was a very nice interlude. So shall we reveal which country it's considered polite?
I think it's China.
All right, let's see here. 3. Let me get my harmonica. So you think it's China. Why do you think it's China?
Because I think I remember it from.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I know that it's Asia, but I'm not sure. Let's see. And I have another question for you. In which 2 cultures is being late considered the norm? I was just wondering. Do you like
Mediterranean?
Okay. And
I don't know the other one. Arabic? No.
it could be so many though, right?
Argentinian?
Oh, interesting. No, you know what? It's very interesting because Argentina, so historically, right? Argentina has a huge European population. Huge. I guess at least half of all Argentinians are of Italian origin. And in fact, in Argentina, they're called Tanos, right? Not Italianos, but Tanos, because they're so common And you have so many Argentinians whose names are Stanganelli, Rossi, I don't know, like Gallone, like that. Anyway, so you would think culturally then they would be more late, but actually I find Argentinians to be quite punctual and very like efficient and really like on the ball. Like they're really with it. Like, damn, they're
good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, good. It's hard to define, is it good or bad to be on time? It's just a different cultural approach, right? Yeah. So
definitely Mediterranean, but I want to know what the second one is.
Okay, let's see it. It is.
Arab.
You correctly. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Ask me number 3, if you will.
In which country are trains considered late if they are running behind by more than 59 seconds?
Not Italy, not San Marino, not the Vatican City. I would guess Japan. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess Japan too.
I think that would be like, yeah.
Yes.
In which country are trains sometimes late by hours or even a day?
India.
Interesting. You say India. I say Italy. I once took a train to Naples. Actually, it was 2 years ago, again, to play. There's this common theme of performing and traveling, which is a nice theme that goes together. Because I played so I went to Naples. My friend was waiting for me. And my train was like 2.5 hours late. It was late. And they ended up reimbursing me for, I think, half of the ticket. And it was like a time thing too, right? Like I had to be there at a certain time. It was a little bit crazy, but let's see. Is it India? It is. Oops. And the last one, which country suffers from time sickness, obsessed with being on time? And how much time is left in the day, week, year, lifetime?
America, the USA.
That would be your guess?
Yeah.
No other country?
No.
Not Liberia?
No.
Not Ireland?
No.
Let us see. 3, 2.
I think I did very well on that.
I think you did fabulously. Yeah, that was good. And I am going to vote for us to go straight to 8. A little bit more discussion about time. Remember, if you're joining us, feel free to write in the comments, say hi, hello, your name, your thoughts about time. In the meanwhile, we see some questions about time. What is that what is he holding?
He is holding an hourglass.
Do you ever use hourglasses?
When playing games, like when you turn it over when you're playing a game.
What game?
I can't think right now. Like games where you have to draw and sketch and then you have a certain amount of time and they have to ask. Very fun.
Like Pictionary?
Yeah, like Pictionary.
It's interesting. For Reiki, sometimes people will use an hourglass. Usually a Reiki session is 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
People will use an hourglass because then you don't have that obnoxious sound of because you do not want to end a Reiki session with an alarm going off. No. So it's interesting. I kind of looked into one, but I don't do it very frequently. So, but I think they're really nice. I mean, it's a beautiful way to count time. How do you think they make hourglasses? How do they know how much sand to put in?
Yeah, that's so interesting. They must have measures out by minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then they just have the exact quantity and add it up.
Because clearly it matters also how big the opening is, the aperture, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. If anyone is a designer of hourglasses, please let us know. I've never thought about that before, but Also, a small note to you, which I think it's safe to mention. Again, if you're joining us, please feel free to write. But I mentioned to you this before. I think I can give you a brief synopsis of it, kind of connected to time and wellness, right? So, Anti-Gym. It was founded by a French doctor in the 1970s, and she noticed people. She worked on mainly spinal problems and spinal just issues with people's well-being and discomfort, especially issues with the spine. And so she designed a method, a very interesting method to have people become more aware of their own bodies and muscles, especially muscles, right? So it's called anti-gym or anti-gymnastics, right? So you think of gym is going to the gym and working out. This is kind of the opposite of that. And it's a way to become more aware, more self-aware. And the benefits are there's a lot of benefits for people, especially that have problems with their spine, right? So I've accompanied with her playing music, doing sound massage during anti-gym sessions. That's how I know about it. Is about 2 years ago she invited me. So with the charango, I'll perform at certain, not perform, I improvise. And usually people lie down, and it's really fascinating. So especially you've worked a lot with your body, so you probably have a heightened awareness of your body. I think it would be really interesting to try it out. So anyways, yeah. Did you have a chance to look at about it?
No, I haven't yet. I haven't looked.
It's really interesting though. So anyway, so let's go back to.
Do you know what Feldenkrais is?
Yeah, I think it's in the same family.
Same sort of family. Okay, yeah.
I've never done it though. Have you?
Yeah, I did a lot of Feldenkrais last year, actually.
Yeah. How was it?
Interesting, very interesting. It's like very small movements, very controlled movements I mean, even just from lying on the floor and turning your head to the right, to the left, and then doing something else, and then you realize that you can put your head so much further, like these sorts of things. Very
cool. So was it beneficial?
Yeah, it was beneficial. It's just for the awareness of the body and like feeling deeper.
Let's put beneficial. Something that benefits you. Or something, I would like to say something that does you well, but that's not something that benefits you. Like beneficial would be a good yoga lesson where it just makes you feel good, right? You feel like juicy, nice energies. It makes you feel loose and happy. Yeah, beneficial. That's interesting. I would certainly try Feldenkrais. It's never come up, but I'm always open to trying new things, like especially related to wellness, right? Like holistic wellness.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy Feldenkrais.
That's cool. Where did you do it?
I did it here in Italy, part of the course that I was a part of last year. And we had a Feldenkrais teacher come in once a week.
In Italian?
No, it was in English.
Oh, wow. How interesting. There was a Feldenkrais teacher in English. Wow. Fabulous. So let's look here at the first question, which is asking, what differences in attitudes or concepts of time in other cultures do you know? Let me think. Let us think. I would imagine, well, I've been to Japan. Did I ever tell you I won a trip to Japan?
No.
It was so cool. So I'm a mediocre photographer, but I'm a very creative person. My friend in Canada suggested that I try to participate in this competition. And so I sent in a couple pictures, and my friend did too. He's a professional photographer, and I got chosen. 10 days in Japan, Tokyo, Kyoto, and Hiroshima. And it was called the Lomo Olympics. It was through the Lomo camera, which is this fun, like shoot from the hip camera. And it was awesome. Awesome. And definitely, I would think attitude towards time in Japan is way different in terms of what we were talking about being on time. Things are very, very on time. It was
Yeah.
amazing, though. I would love to return to Japan to visit. It was so cool. And on one day, we had like a challenge where we all had our cameras, and they gave us a list from A to Z or A to Z that we had to do during that day. And we had only a limited amount of time. And some things were really complicated, like specific things about Tokyo. So we spent the whole day all alone, everyone alone. There were 25 people from around the world that came. There was also someone from Cape Town, South Africa, actually, which is cool. And so we had to go and like ask information and take pictures, and then they developed our pictures. This was in the analog era, right? So we all had our rolls of film, and then they determined the winner, which was this Norwegian girl. I don't remember her name, but it was such a cool experience.
Oh, cool.
If you told me tomorrow, go to Japan for 10 days, I'm like, yeah, I'm there.
I really want to go and experience it, you know. Like I didn't before. It was never a part of the world that I was drawn to. But like over the last year, like I have a very good friend. She was telling me all about her experiences there. After a while, like I've started to feel the pull.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, when you start hearing to friends that have been somewhere and visited, but this was so cool because I had no connection to it. I generally like having kind of family spread out. Growing up, we would go visit family. That would be where we'd go. So this was cool because it had nothing to do with me at all. It was totally different culture, right?
Yeah.
That was quite cool. Yeah, but in Asia, I've only been to Japan. I have not been to other places in Asia. If you're joining us, tell us, have you been to Asia? Have you been to places where there's other concepts of time?
There is obviously in the Middle East, their time of the week is different to us. They start their week on a Sunday.
Absolutely. Is that in UAE?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Israel too. Note in the Middle East. UAE is the Middle East, right?
United Arab Emirates.
On Sunday and not on Monday. Yeah, good point. Yeah, my aunt lives in Israel too. So yeah, Sunday, first day of the week. UAE, probably also in, I guess, Egypt, Lebanon, Syria.
Yeah.
Bahrain, Oman.
It was very strange for me because I arrived when I went to visit my dad. I think I arrived on like the Friday. Very late. Maybe it was more like Saturday. It was because of the overnight time difference, blah, 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 blah. I think I arrived in like the middle of the night, Friday night. So it was like Saturday morning. And then had Saturday with my dad. But then my dad was at work on Sunday. He was like, right, we're going to work. And I was like, but it's Sunday.
Dad, what are you doing? That's
what
Does the work week finish on Thursday or on Friday?
Finishes on my dad. I don't know, but my dad finishes Friday evening, so he only has one day off a week.
See, that's crazy.
Maybe other, but I think that's because of his job. So, but actually, usually no, because he's theatre anyway. So sometimes he'll be working Friday and Saturday.
So he does theater in the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
Does he speak Arabic?
No.
How long has he lived there?
So he works for. Okay, so my dad's a lighting designer for theatre. Has been his whole life. He worked for the National Theatre for his whole life, and then he was made redundant, which was very sad.
Really?
Because they wanted to employ young people fresh out of university because they're much cheaper to employ. And my dad was one of the most highly paid in the theatre because he had been working there for 27 years by that point.
Amazing.
And he's an expert in his field. So he was made redundant. It was very sad. He was going for a job at the Opera House. But then he kind of was a bit too emotional about working at the Opera House, across the river, looking at the National Theatre, because his baby is the National Theatre. And so this opportunity came for him. He got offered the job. It's the New York University of Abu Dhabi. And It was a brand new building, 3 brand new theatres, completely, 3 of them, a playground for my dad. And they said, we want you to come and you have total freedom. You can build your own lighting rigs. You can order whatever lights you like. So my dad was like, oh yeah, what an opportunity.
That's awesome. How long has he lived there?
I think 6 years now.
Does he like it?
I guess so. I think
Does he
so.
like the gig? Like, does he like the job?
He loves the job. But for the first 3 years he was working there were no performances because it was literally just 3 years of building the theatre, the 3 theatres. So ordering in all the lights, unpackaging, fixing the desk, everything.
That is fascinating, though.
Yeah, like only in the last 2 years has the theatre been open and they've started having a program.
So it's connected to the school. So who studies at that university then learns lighting with your dad?
Yeah, but no, because the theatres are used professionally. So touring companies come in and use them because they're the only real theatres in Abu Dhabi, the New York University theatres. So they're used as professional theatres.
So when you go there, do you see performances often?
I mean, I haven't been. I only went once when he first moved there. So the theatre was closed at that point.
Right. How interesting! Wow.
Yeah.
It's so
neat. Because you tell someone like, oh yeah, my dad works in Abu Dhabi, like, oh my god, you must be so rich. I'm like, well, no, he's just a lighting designer.
I have a friend who's a really good lighting designer. His name's Kala. He's half Australian, half Italian. And I did a tour. Probably the biggest tour I ever did was about in 2017. So there was about 13 of us on tour. It was really awesome. 5 in the band. And then the rest of the people were the tour manager, the lighting designer, the XYZ. Mm-hmm. And he was the lighting designer and he's fantastic. It was so cool. It was really an amazing experience playing on stage with a lighting designer. It just changes. It's just like the song and the lights go out. You're like, wow.
For me, as a performer, like it was so beneficial because when my dad worked at the National Theatre, I spent my childhood like in the National Theatre behind stage. And it made me then, as an adult, I became a performer and I was on stage, but it made me so aware of how important the crew are and, just to give them respect and understand that their job is very challenging. And even though you're doing a tech run and as a performer, you're bored, you're tired, you've been stood on stage for 7 hours, but actually like the work that is going on to make your performance you just have a much bigger awareness of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also like it was great for me as well because I started to understand like the way the lights work, what has to happen, what is good, what is not good.
Definitely. It's a huge part of a performance. If you can't see the people on stage, or if the lighting is too much or too red or too blue, it's amazing what a difference it makes, no? Hence, you were saying that you were doing the lighting in your den too. So you also are a lighting designer, right? I mean, it makes a difference in the den, right? It makes a difference in my place too. I have 2 lights. I did this like live stream yesterday, and so I put these 2 additional lights, which works. It makes a big difference, Even now we have, like, you have a nice lighting. I see you have sunlight coming in from your window, right?
Yeah.
And you can't really see because the thing is this, where we live, the light, it does not come directly in. So basically we don't get sunlight. The sunlight goes to the building in front of us. So I can look and sometimes I'll see there's one guy in particular who will lounge on his balcony, small balcony. And I just look and drool basically, or you say dribble in the UK, right?
Drool. No, I would say drool.
Oh, really? Some people say to dribble?
To dribble is when you're like an old person and you dribble your food.
Oh. How would you describe to drool?
To drool is like, for example, if you see something that you really want or you really like, you start to drool like a dog does when it sees food.
Yeah, exactly. I would define it like this. So to drool is a fun verb, which means when saliva uncontrollably comes out of your mouth. To drool, like if I look right now at this carrot, seeing as it's really close to lunchtime, I might start drooling. Although it's not a beautiful carrot. Can you see? It's like time to cook it.
Yeah, the time's running out on that carrot.
Right. It's to the point where it's sort of bendy.
Do you want to? I just remembered actually something that my dad told me. He went years and years ago. He did this lighting workshop thing. I don't know, and they had a store, like a supermarket, like a fake supermarket. All the shelves, all stocked, same food, same product. No, I mean different products, different food.
But with fresh food?
Yeah, like actual food, the tin cans, like everything. They replicated a supermarket.
Cool.
And what they did, they left it everything the same, but they changed the lighting. So we have many stores in England, different brands. We have Lidl, Aldi, then like Tesco, M&S, Sainsbury's, and like considered the best one is what's it called? I don't know. I never shopped there because it's too expensive.
Okay.
But then a really high class one. And what they did, they used the different lighting for all of these stores, and everything stayed the same, but the feeling and the worth of the supermarket changed just because of the lighting.
And how so? Like what colors, what lighting made what?
It was more of like a yellow-based color in the cheaper supermarkets.
Like a more neon?
Yeah, slightly more neon, like yellowy. Everything looks a bit duller, and then more of a white, open, like sunlight light.
Like a natural sunlight.
Natural sunlight light in the higher up supermarkets.
Awesome.
And it completely changed everything.
That's so interesting, huh? How much the light can impact our sensation or our sense of worth.
Yeah, completely.
Do you have good lighting at home?
I do. In this apartment, yes. In my last apartment, I had terrible lighting, and I really felt it affect me.
Really? Yeah. Let's put
Actually, when I was in my second year at university, I lived in a basement apartment, and there was no light for a whole year, and I got so depressed. I was so unwell, and it was, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So natural lighting when the natural sunlight comes in. Yeah. Here, there's not a lot of. I mean, Bologna tends to be rather bright. I find it to be a bright city. Like it has a nice energy to it and a nice general light. You know what I mean? But so we don't get a lot of natural sunlight, but there's still, it's like right now, I mean, I have enough light coming in, although I do have the light on as well. I could turn it off theoretically. Maybe I'll turn it off when I cook now, but yeah, I really like, I also really like gels that are used in theater that will color the lights too. I think that's really fun.
Oh goodness! As a child, I used to always play. My dad had this little flick book. It was like,
I know those flip books. They're so cool.
They're so thick because there's just so many colors, and you like all through the colors.
Totally, they're beautiful. Yeah, I have a friend of a friend works at Teatro Duce in Bologna. Do you know the theater?
Oh yeah. I've been there.
He's like you were saying about your dad working 27 years. I think he's worked there about 20 years. Mm-hmm. He doesn't do lighting design. I think he's a tech. I don't know exactly what his role is there, but it's neat. I've been wanting to go. I still haven't been to that theater. Have you been?
Yeah, I have been. My friend used to work there actually.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it is nice. I think so. Although it's interesting, I have found through the theatre, there's a very different theatre etiquette of the audience from in England and here in Italy. Okay. So, and I went to the theatre a few times with my mum here in Italy, and my mum also used to work in the theatre. My mum was the stage manager.
Wow.
So she's very about the professionalism in the theatre. Yeah. And in the one in Bologna, the steward kept walking up and down the side. And in England, the steward cannot do that. It's so distracting for the audience, and it's inappropriate and it's unprofessional. And then also me and my mum went to watch small segments of an opera in Florence, and it was amazing. I actually have the thing here. We saw this. I don't know if you
big. Wow, that sounds lovely. And how was it?
It was good, apart from after every solo, everyone was clapping. But in like, it's technically like you should not do that. It's not appropriate audience etiquette.
It takes a lot of time too when people start clapping.
I know. And after a while, my mum was just like, she was obviously, to be polite, but she was like, "This is wrong. This is wrong. It shouldn't be like."
Yeah, totally. I saw Carmen a few years ago. A friend invited me.
That's my mum's favorite opera.
At the Los Angeles Opera, 3.5 hours of drooling. It was so beautiful. Wow. So we're up for time. Let's remind everyone, you can go to the MyES SOS Facebook group. As I wrote here, visit it anytime with your English questions and comments. Thank you. This has been most lovely.
Thank you.
And we will see you all at the next lovely webinar. Have a nice night, everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye.